everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Allison. If you're not new here, welcome back. So this is my second voice over, so we're hoping that it is a lot better. We learn from our mistakes and we're improving. Although I don't know how much we're learning from our mistakes considering I'm doing this back to back. I did listen back to my voiceover from last time, and it's not the best quality, but I don't have like high-end equipment, so I don't imagine I'll get the high quality anyway. But let's talk a little about the build. This is a cabin, a vacation home in Granite Falls. Sticking with the vacation home theme of this week, as this is the last vacation home because I only post 2 times a week because I am trying to slowly get into it. I can't be little Simsy and post every day. I simply would go insane. But I love that for her. But anyway, we're kind of starting. I originally had a totally different idea in mind for my cabin build, but I just couldn't get the roofing to figure it out. And I was like, I need to do something a little bit simpler just for my own mental sake. So I did this, and this roofing was still a little finicky. I just hate roofing on porches. Roofing houses is kind of fun unless you're like trying to replicate something, but which is honestly what I do, so maybe that's why I don't like roofing as much. Maybe I should just be trying to like build and then roof, but who knows. Anyway, like I said, last time I was trying to do like just a base game build, but this one is limited pack. It's only base game, seasons, and outdoor retreat. So if you only have one or two of those packs, it should be really easy for you to download. Although if you have all three of those packs, you don't have to worry about missing anything. I used a lot of outdoor retreat and some touches of seasons. So mess with that as you will. I know personally, outdoor retreat is probably not one that's up high on a lot of people's must-have list, but it is. I ended up getting it because it was in a bundle, and right now I don't have all the packs. When I had my PS4, I had practically all of the packs. But right now I'm slowly building up my arsenal. I don't just want to drop a lot of money on sim packs. Even though I'd love to do that, college girls gotta struggle. But anyway, I did build this in like a snowy season, but right now I'm just moving it into summer, I think. I might move to summer or spring just so I could see the ground and kind of get that looking good for that season so it's good all year round. I didn't I don't remember if I looked and saw if the bushes were dead or not in winter, but they looked fine in summer. I can't remember if they're dead in winter or not. Anyway, I imagined that one of the parents really liked gardening and like kind of being outdoors, or both of them like being outdoors because you don't just go to vacation in outdoor retreat if you don't like the outdoors. But I kind of imagine this is more of like a family's vacation home. Like they come and stay here over the summer and maybe they come out here for the holidays just to kind of get away from the everyday busyness, or maybe they live out here. Just depends on what you kind of want to, what storyline you want to go with. But I was kind of thinking along those lines that either they lived out here or they're out here in the summer and the winter. But like I was saying, they enjoy being outdoors. One of them is really into like plants and gardening and beekeeping and kind of taking from the land, like hunting and gathering kind of thing. I imagine one of them's more a hunter and one of them's more of a gatherer. But you can play it where they both are both, or maybe neither of them are, and one of the kids just is, kind of thing. But here's those plans. I kind of cut out a lot of the terrain paint because it took me a while, just because I was being pretty finicky with it. But I did leave in this where a little front area with little flowers and just kind of a little bit of an overgrowth. And yeah, that's about it for there. I did add like a swing set activity because I did imagine this was like two parents, a teenage boy, a toddler of some gender, and then a child girl sim. Oh my goodness, I worded those very strangely. But yeah, I imagined it was just a family of five that lived out here, and yeah. With this one though is when I moved it back to wintertime, I accidentally killed my sim self. I like froze to death because I like put us in a heat wave to like kind of get the snow to melt fast. And then all of a sudden I put it into like a blizzard. So I killed my sim self, which was not fun, but it happened. Alrighty, we're back. Sorry, my cats were getting into something, but now they're back peacefully sleeping and we're back with the house. I have no clue where we left off at, but right now we are getting the little fireplace area ready. I ended up putting it up on a platform, which is, I don't know if it's realistic or not. To be honest, a fireplace is kind of unrealistic because growing up, half the houses, I don't want to say half the houses, but a majority of them didn't have a fireplace. A lot of them just had like burning stove, like corn burn. What is it called? It's like wood, not wood burning stove, but one of my aunt and uncles had a wood burning stove. But we had like a corn burning stove, or like, yeah, my dad's a farmer, so like in our basement there'd be like this stove where he'd like bring home like corn or wood pellets, and they'd burn it, and then they would help heat our house in the winter, which was kind of nice. But yeah, so we never had a fireplace. We just had one of those in our basement, which is probably pretty strange. But our basement was unfinished, so it was kind of like this weird thing. Anyway, we're finally getting the layout together. I know it's a bit weird for like a cabin to kind of have like an open, or this open, I guess, of a living space, but I kind of liked how it ended up out, like how the layout ended up. It was pretty nice, and I know people complain about it all the time that square rooms are so hard to floor plan because you have no, like, excuse me, I'm so sorry. You have no like certain shapes that like you can follow. Like obviously I had that little indent where I could like throw the fireplace in and kind of make it fit in there, but other than that, I really didn't have anything else to go off of other than like I guess the parents' room wing area. But honestly, this is coming together pretty fast. This build didn't take me too terribly long once I finally found like a shape and a roof line that I liked. Um, and then it also helped that there wasn't too many options, right? Because there's just base game seasons and outdoor retreat. A little bit did get cut out here because I forgot to record. I blame that on my boyfriend. Usually he distracts me with something, and then like I pause my OBS because I'm like, oh, I want to give you my full attention. I don't have to worry about it. And then I'll like go back to like decorating and hanging up photos on my wall and I forget to unpause it. So if you ever notice that, it's probably that. Or I could have just cut it out of the video because I'm just like swinging the camera back and forth. And I'm just like, this is probably going to give someone a headache and I don't want to do that. But other times, I just leave it in because I'm like, you know what? I probably edit my videos too much and it's unrealistic. But you never know. I mean, my video is already in like 5 times speed, so like this is like 5 times faster than like how I'm actually building it. So who cares how realistic it really is, I guess. Anyway, I kind of added some clutter up on top of that like sideboard hutch. See, a hutch for me, I've heard like other YouTubers call that like a hutch, but a hutch for me is like a full like wall length one. You'll see it in my video next week in, yeah, I don't know if I want to release a theme for next week or not. I will. Next week we're doing single parents. So you'll see it in my single dad house build. There's a big hutch in the dining area. And that's a hutch. And that's like on the other side of like the kitchen island is not a hutch to me. Anyway, we're in the parents' bedroom now. I used a lot of like older or like furniture that looks like it's handmade because I imagine the dad made it, even though I'm pretty sure I forgot to put down a woodworking table. I was gonna do that, but I think I totally forgot to do that. So that might be something you want to add. You could totally add it over here, like by the truck or something. But yeah, we're just adding a few little miscellaneous decor up into the side tables and on the dressers. We ended up getting this really cool plant that is in a watering can, and yeah, it looks so cool. It's totally something my mom would have. She's all about plants and birds and stuff. And I also got that little picture hanging up on the wall. I imagine it's like either where their home is or where one of them's from. And then we threw together this ensuite for them. There's only 2 bathrooms, which is probably okay with this size of family. I don't know. I know one bathroom's not enough because I grew up in a family of five, and one bathroom, even 1.5 baths, is not enough for a family of five because someone is always on the toilet when you have to go. I'm sure that problem would happen no matter how many toilets you have, but it would have to happen at any time. Sorry. Anyway, we're in the teenage boys' room now. I imagined that he was very much into like working out and guitar. And I also put a few books in here. I mean, the boy probably goes to school, right? But I put a guitar and the sports clutter. I always use the swatch of the basketball just because I feel like it's more realistic. Probably because growing up I played basketball, so the basketball to me is just more realistic. I also put a stereo in here. I usually try to do that in teenagers' rooms because I imagine that they probably have a pretty decent taste of music. I also put this like poster up with the woman with the bat with a baseball bat. I imagine that's like some action poster from this movie he really likes. And then I got a few fitness posters up because he likes that, and some clothes on the floor, and then that mirror, and actually all the furniture I imagine that his dad probably made, like the side table and the headboard and the bed frame. And then we just throw a chair in this corner, and I think that's be it for the room. Well, I also have those postcards. I imagine that maybe one of his friends he goes to school with maybe goes on trips a lot, and maybe he lives like vicariously through him. I totally just came up with that on the spot. I did not think of that when I put that in there. But now we're in the toddler's room, and I really kind of made it like very animal friendly. Although I did put these lights down because occasionally I like to kind of switch out which lights I use because sometimes I'm like, not every place is gonna have like these recessed lighting, but also it's really good. Like those little subtle, super subtle saucer lights are really good for lighting. And yeah, I really struggle with using wall lights just because I hate the lighting they give off. So I usually just use the ceiling lights. And here in the tiny human room, which is something Evelyn says, and I love it so much that she calls them tiny humans because honestly, I've never heard of that before, and it's so cute. Oh, another thing I did in this build is for a vast majority of the windows, I used the same curtains, which is something I usually don't do because it's kind of unrealistic to me because growing up, none of the rooms in my house had like the same curtain. So I'm like, but I know it looks really good in The Sims, and it's like very much like a nice touch to add. But yeah, I think this is pretty much it for this guy's room. We just throw that up, and then I get like the measuring chart and tuck those guys over by the bear chair. And then we head on into the child's room. And she, I imagine, is very into like the outdoors and the flowers and plants and very much gets along and loves spending time out in the garden with her mom and her dad, or any kind of parent for that matter. But yeah, um, I'm not sure what else. Oh, I added a scouting board in here because that came with seasons. And so I figured maybe that's something that she's in. Maybe she's like the only girl in her scouting in the Boy Scouts kind of thing, like, or maybe it was a hand-me-down from her brother and she's just like kind of using it as challenges. I also really, oh my goodness, finish one thought before you go to the next, Allison. I also really like the bunny I added in here. It like matched the swatch on the bed very much, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. And I also added gardening tools on her dresser, even though I'm like, it's probably unrealistic for the gardening tools to be on her dresser, but that's where they are gonna be. And then after this, I'm pretty sure we just pop outside for a little bit more terrain painting, and that's it. But if you like this house, it is available on the gallery. It's under hashtag alpalsgames or under my origin ID, which is alison.logue, or maybe just alisonlogue. Anyway, it's available under one of those. But if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I post builds twice a week, and I would love to have you join us. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye.